how is daily life here different compared to Dubai?
Well, I cannot tell you in particular, but I can tell you based on my personal experience. First off, there's literally zero traffic, which is a huge added value. But honestly speaking, safety is, both cities are very safe. I mean, Abu Dhabi is the safest city in the world for the past 10 years. But I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Of course, Dubai also is a very, very important and one of the most important cities around the globe. But here, it's a little bit more nature-oriented, less crowded, less towers, let's say. In the capital, yeah, maybe you'll have a lot of, in the main Corniche Road, let's say, you have huge towers, but still, the horizontal development is more common in Abu Dhabi. More green spaces, bigger land spaces, bigger beaches as well, more natural beachfronts, more family-oriented, let's say, not as busy as Dubai. And that is one, for me, myself, I find that one of the most important things that I look for in a city when I'm living in with my family.
Can you describe like a weekend with your family here?
You know, sometimes forget the weekend. The weekend, I mean, I like to enjoy it at home with the family and all of that, maybe doing some barbecue and so on, and the garden all. But sometimes I pick my children up from school. Sometimes they would like to change, to have a little bit of change of mood. So I pass by Ferrari World for 15 minutes. You know, I have the annual pass for me and my family. We grab a pizza there. He'll ride one ride and then we'll get back home. It takes us about 30 minutes to do so, which is a nice, you know, yeah, I mean, you're entering Ferrari World, or sometimes Warner Brothers. You'll just enter with them for their grabbing a hot dog or a burger, something just to lighten up the mood just after a long school day for him. He enjoys it, and then I'll get him back to home. And this is something that you cannot do in any other country around the globe. But so, I mean, if you want to visit a main theme park in any other country, it will take you at least an hour to get there. Yeah, then another hour to get in, and then to get out. I mean, here you have a 30-minute drive. You'll get into a park, you'll grab a pizza, and then get out. And that's something that is, I mean, I didn't live this experience, but here in Abu Dhabi, or in Yas in particular.
Let's talk about numbers. Where does Abu Dhabi's economic strength really comes from?
So if we're talking numbers, you know that 90 to 95% of the entire oil reserves in the UAE are in Abu Dhabi. That's one thing that was very, 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 very significant. But then again, the sovereign wealth funds that Abu Dhabi have, as I told you, Abu Dhabi has the biggest sovereign wealth fund in the entire world. So it's technically the main money printing machine right now for Abu Dhabi. And that sovereign wealth funds has invested in huge tech companies, international banks, and global real estate markets. So all of that generates a lot of income, not to mention, of course, also tourism, the real estate sector, and all the entire infrastructure that has been built in Abu Dhabi. All of that brings in significant amount of income for Abu Dhabi as one Imara.
How important is oil now, realistically, compared to the past?
That's a very important question. So if we go back 20 years back, you'll see that the oil production was making about 75 to 80% of the entire GDP of the UAE. But recently, if we're talking about the UAE in general, 75% of the entire GDP is non-oil related. Only 20 to 25% of the entire GDP right now is from oil. But if we talk about Abu Dhabi in particular, you're going to see that right now, 45% of oil makes up the GDP, 55% is technically related to international income, tourism, and other sectors. But it's depending less and less on oil, and that is one thing that is very important. And the way they did that is that they got a huge income from oil over the past years. They put all of that in international sovereign wealth funds, invested in technology sectors, invested in infrastructure, invested in tourism, invested in multiple other sectors. And then that was the main money printing machine that is generating the income now. And that was a very important leadership decision taken from the entire government. And it's something that, try to mimic or do something similar.
What do the data tell us about the demand for the real estate, supply and absorption?
That is also very important, that almost all the projects that are launched in Abu Dhabi technically they're sold out on a very fast pace, and the absorption rate is huge. Most of the projects are sold out on launch. Like one example that we as Ohana have personally experienced, like the Elisa waterfront and Reem Island. It was one of the first branded residences. When we launched it at the time, it was sold out on launch, the entire tower. We kept a few units, of course, but the entire thing, 99% of the units were sold out on launch. And that is something significant. In comparison with other developments in Dubai, maybe the sales is not as fast as Abu Dhabi, but in Abu Dhabi, the absorption rate is huge.
What do rental yields and the occupancy rates in Abu Dhabi are telling us about demand?
I'll tell you. So if you look at the current rental values of properties, whether it was villas or apartments, you're going to see that they are significantly higher than they should be, meaning they reach about 7 to 9% currently in the market. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there is, of course, a huge demand for rentals, but it means that the prices of units are still undervalued.
Yep.
Because the typical average rental rate as per international worldwide market should be not more than 4%, like 4.5% maximum, especially in a country that there's like zero tax. Like we have zero taxes on real estate rentals. So it should make like net income of 4 to 4.5%. So when you see that the property is making 9% rental value, it means that the property value is actually like doubled. This is the actual value, but it's selling at significantly less price than it should be. So a unit that is selling now for $1 million and generating about, let's say, $90,000 a year in rental value, it means that the property, its actual value is like $2 million, $1.8 million, so that it will generate this $90,000 based on 4% income. Again, this is important again to address for your clients, to your to the international investors, that the price range will increase dramatically within the upcoming years, especially when people take notice. It usually takes some time for the prices to increase, but I believe within a year, 2 years maximum, prices will double in major locations around Abu Dhabi.
And the residents of Abu Dhabi, they keep on growing, and I can see that there is a trend that people are moving from Dubai here. People are obviously buying also properties over here. How long do you think it takes them to understand that, yes, this is the place where we want to stay, and maybe we don't want to go back to Dubai, and this is where we want to
Well, it
be?
depends on the preference. But if you have a family and you're more of a family person, Abu Dhabi in general is a little bit more enjoyable than Dubai, from the concept of more serenity, more horizontal development, less vertical developments, less traffic, all of that. There are more theme parks. You know that currently Yes is almost at 50% of all the entertainment in the UAE, or the leisure entertainment parks in the UAE are in Yes, more than 50%.
Very high concentration.
Yeah, I mean, very, very high concentration, all in Yes Island in comparison to all of the UAE. I'm not just saying about Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So that is something that all the parks are concentrated in a, let's say, 15-minute drive around one small island. That's something very unique, and it hasn't been done in any other, part of the world. And then again, back to your main question, you're telling me like family and the concept of like how much time would the people would need to adjust to living. Once they start living or trying to live in Yes Island, they're technically gonna get used to it pretty fast, and they're gonna enjoy it, especially with its proximity to other destinations. So we're not just talking about Yes itself. And just take a broader look, you'll see that Saadiyat is 15 minutes away, NY University, Cranley School, all the major hospitals are like 15 to 20 minutes away from here. The Free Zone area, which is located in Maria Island, is about 25 minutes away. The main Corniche Road with the financial center, the big towers over there is like also 25 minutes. Our headquarters is in Abu Dhabi Corniche. It takes me about 25 minutes every day to drive there, which is very much convenient. I mean, I live in Yes, but I drive there for 25 minutes. And when I want to go to Dubai, it takes me about an hour, 10 minutes to get to downtown almost, which is also very convenient. If I'm going to the airport, it takes me about 10 minutes to travel to get to the airport, to travel to another country. So the entire lifestyle is very much easy you know, and that is something really, honestly, you don't get that in any other city in the world.